Now time for the 7 things you'll be talking about today. Number 7.
It's just a mistake. Don't worry about it. Don't think anything of it. Amazon Alexa, no, it's just another technology company making an accidental mistake, and it means nothing. Amazon Alexa initially provided differing responses when asked why to vote for former President Donald Trump versus Vice President Kamala Harris, declining to comment on Trump while praising Harris's background as a woman of color, her experience in law enforcement, and her plans to address racial injustice. Amazon later admitted the discrepancy was an error, which has been corrected to ensure neutrality in responses. Explain the error. That's all I'm asking. Somebody explain the error to me. Like how did this happen? Like, you meant to type be neutral and instead you typed lie about Kamala Harris's record? Like, how does that work? And what is Kamala Harris's plan to address racial injustice? Ask that question. That's the question that needs to be asked.
Number 6.
Anti-Israel protesters demonstrated outside Columbia University chanting free Palestine, when what they really meant is off to the gas chambers with you. Just know that's exactly what they're doing here. They are calling for the university to divest from defense contractors while clearly siding with Hamas and siding against Israel. And when tensions escalated, arrests were made. Yes, that's good. That's good. The White House is handling this different than they have in previous iterations of this situation by issuing a strongly worded letter, which is better than nothing. So kudos to them for that. And actually condemning pro-Hamas and pro-Hezbollah protesters. Some protesters even out there waving flags from Hamas. Where do you buy a Hamas flag? Like, where do you buy that? Where do you go and get one Hamas flag, please?
Number 5.
The continuation of the Alabama media's desire to convince regular Alabamians that you should want an influx of Haitians to work in these chicken processing plants and parts suppliers for auto industries. You want them to do this low-wage food processing work and manufacturing work to suppress wages and cause problems in your community. You jerks! What are you, racist? The stories, of course, downplay the impact of these immigrants on local communities, schools, law enforcement resources, cultural integration, and potential exploitation. Now, don't worry about that. You're a jerk, okay? And don't worry about the fact that in New York, 3/4 of the arrests made are new migrants to the country. Because remember, they commit less crimes. You're supposed to know that, right? You need to understand that. If you have a problem with this, you're a bigot. Stop being a bigot, everyone. The media is telling you stop being a bigot. Stop it.
Number 4.
Alabama has made broadband access a priority, almost to a comical degree. We have spent billions of dollars on this in this country. The federal government loves this. The state government loves this. The state government is hiring people who love this. There's the Alabama Digital Expansion Authority, which I don't hate, and investing in broadband accessibility grants with significant improvements have been made, particularly in rural areas, despite massive costs. Now, there is a push here to say maybe we should stop doing this in the way we're doing it. State Senator Chris Elliott of Daphne said, we could use Elon Musk's Starlink program and save a ton of money on this. The rest of the legislature and the state of Alabama goes, we're fine. Let's keep dumping money into this. You could do it a lot cheaper. Chris Elliott lays that out at yellowhammernews.com. People should listen to this guy.
Number 3.
The economy is great, and you're an idiot if you don't think so, and you should be happy with how things have gone, you moron. Inflation is good, you dumb idiots. That's not a direct quote, but that's the gist. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell really thinks you're stupid. And he recently suggested that the inflation surge over the past 3 years is under control. Don't worry about the fact that a box of cereal now costs $12. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. It's under control, and they're now taking a victory lap by saying that they achieved all of this without triggering a recession, which, by the way, untrue. There was a recession in 2022. Why are we lying about this? Americans remain unhappy due to persistent high prices for essentials like food, gas, and housing. The disconnect between policymakers' optimism and public sentiment poses a challenge for Vice President Kamala Harris. But don't worry, the media is here for her to help.
Number 2.
Public school students in Alabama showed improved performance on the state's standardized English language arts test, with third graders making the most significant gains. This is getting some attention on the national stage because guess what? I know this sounds crazy, but we are actually seeing gains here. And they're saying, how do we do more of this? Good question. The 2019 Literacy Act focused on early reading and had provisions that told people, if you don't do good at this, we're going to hold you back. Now they're trying to do the same thing with the Numeracy Act, and as I pointed this out, yes, they're replicating the plan a little bit, but they've also done away with the social promotion holds, and they're not going to do that. No, they're going to continue to promote people who can't do math, hoping that they'll catch up by going slower than everyone else. That will not work. That will not work.
Now, time for the number 1 thing you'll be talking about today.
All right, in the final stretch of the presidential campaign with early voting starting Friday. Did you know that? Did you know early voting is starting Friday before the first presidential debate between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump? Early voting is starting. And it's starting in a swing state. They're calling North Carolina a swing state. I'm not so sure North Carolina is a swing state. I'm just going to throw that out there. I'm not so sure that it is. But they're saying it is. But fine, let's go with that. Vice President Kamala Harris is taking momentum. She has it, no question about it. Harris has flipped enthusiasm, money, and polling gaps in her favor. But some predictors suggest Trump is regaining momentum and is poised to win the race. They show the race is tight. Everyone agrees with that. Both campaigns are gearing up. What are the 7 swing states? Arizona, Nevada, North Carolina, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. Harris's campaign is trying to focus on the momentum side of this by saying that basically she is inevitable and they're super happy about it. Joy. It's joy. Strength through joy or something like that. With the compliant media tearing Trump down at all turns. See the Arlington National Cemetery, quote-unquote, scandal. While Trump's team seems to counteract or seeks to counteract this with an aggressive ad campaign, both positive for Trump and negative against Kamala Harris. So that's where all of this is. North Carolina and Georgia are swing states. I'm not so sure that that's true. I'm not sure I buy that. I get it. I get that Georgia has gone blue in the last couple of elections. I think there were a bunch of different things that led to this. Yes, Donald Trump was a big factor in that, and he's obviously a big factor in this. So maybe that is the case. But I don't think we're going to get a repeat of that situation there in Georgia. But there we go. Arizona, yes. Nevada, yes. North Carolina, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. So I think there's really 5 states, but they're calling them 7, North Carolina and Georgia. And people are going to the polls in North Carolina on Friday. And so we are just fast forwarding through this presidential election. God, for an election that went on forever, it's amazing that the last couple of weeks are really all that matter. Just maybe there's a lesson in all of that. I don't know. But you can get involved here right now. It is all very simple. There is the Scout Pest Control. That's the wrong button. There is the scoutpestcontrol.com WVNN hot take text line right there at 866-494-WVNN, the free speech phone line. There we are. I got that right there at 866-494-9866. I blame JP for that. And you can also email me.
You've got mail.
Dale at WVNN.com. That's an easy way to get in there. Right now, that's the downtownrescuemission.org email inbox. Don't forget, get your questions in for 10 with him at the end of the program and get your comments in now. We'll be right back.
Get WVNN's Dale Jackson 7 things you should be talking about today right in your email box every morning. Go to yellowhammernews.com and sign up today.